right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. I hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday. And I do appreciate you guys waiting patiently for not only the intro to finish up, but also the fact that I'm a little bit late with today's stream. I do apologize about that. I'll probably be late with tomorrow's stream as well. So be prepared for that. Even though tomorrow might be a big day. Tomorrow might be a big day for GTA. We don't know for sure yet. But I do hope, well, number one, I do hope tomorrow's a big day for GTA. Because we've been waiting long enough. But it would also make for, if we get like a new GTA trailer, pretty interesting stream. Hellbound, what's up? Raven, Dwayne, Lady Gamer, Petrov. Hope you all are doing well. Robert, Ray. Michael Lynch says, you should keep the channel name MBG. Even though this channel is not about lifting weights, you are still muscular and a gamer. It works perfectly. Thank you so much for that, Michael. How flattering. He says, I'm still muscular. Well, we'll see. We'll see how muscular I remain with this issue. Still been trying to do very, very, very light lifting. So I'll probably keep it. Yeah, let me clarify that. In the chat, somebody is saying Tom Henderson said that there's not going to be a GTA trailer tomorrow and there's not going to be pre-orders. It's very important to understand he's not leaking, like he's not saying that as a leak or a scoop. He's saying that is his opinion. And the reason he's saying that is because of Take-Two Interactive, the CEO, Strauss Zelnick, said that marketing would kick off beginning summer. And so it's still spring. Spring ends June 21st. So, yeah, some people saw that and took it as Tom Henderson confirming that nothing's happening tomorrow. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, lock it in, be prepared, it is happening tomorrow. I'm not saying that. I think you should keep your expectations in check. Be prepared for absolutely nothing to happen. We should be used to that by now, especially with Grand Theft Auto 6. But, yeah, he was just giving his opinion on that. I don't think anybody really knows. Anybody who does know is not saying a word, understandably. So we will find out in due time. You're asking, how's the nerve pain going? It's still going. Yeah. I'm trying to... yesterday was pretty good. Most of my pain was, gone yesterday. But then it came back. So I don't know if that's a sign that I am healing, but... it's tough, but I still have to give it time. I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow, or a specialist, I should say. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do, but, I'll be sure to let you guys know what is said. Vlund with a $5 super chat says, AI affecting games and can speed up game development time from 20 to 50%. Square Enix by the end of 2027 states AI can do about 70% quality assurance and debugging as one example. Yes, this right here is why when we talk about AI, Lund, in gaming, at least I talk about it in the context of it is here to stay. Obviously, a lot of people have very strong feelings about something like generative AI, but in terms of being able to take care of a lot of different tasks that usually would be reserved for people to do, but these are tasks that are very tedious, things that can take a very long time, AI will remove the time factor, seemingly. So, sounds like Square Enix is embracing AI. Ghetto God, what's up, man? Now, I think summer starts June 21st. Perfect image. I'm seeing people asking, how is my back? Did I hurt my back? Just to give you a small update, I hurt my neck, or at like the very bottom of my neck, I guess upper mid back. I have a herniated disc and a pinched nerve, and so that's a pretty serious thing. I don't know what is going to happen yet. I think the idea is I'm going to try to recover as naturally as I can, but it might take a long time. That's the problem with an injury like this, is it takes a very long time. If it's going to heal, it's going to take time. So I'm just trying to work with it and around it, trying to push through. It's been something, I'll tell you. But I appreciate you guys asking. Cheese and Chainsaws with a £5 super chat says, like always, Rockstar do gameplay right before launch. GTA 5's deep dive was 10 weeks before its launch. Red Dead Redemption 2 was August and October 2018. Game released October 2018. So Cheese and Chainsaws, from the sound of it, you're not expecting anything gameplay related to be shown tomorrow or for months, basically. I mean, that makes sense. Maybe when they said the marketing is going to ramp up in summer, that's really what they were talking about. Like the big gameplay blitz and just showing you all the different aspects. I mean, I've talked about this before on our previous streams, and it's the fact that if they're going to announce pre-orders opening up, they don't have to make a big deal about it. Like, they don't have to drop a long trailer or anything like that. They could just drop a short trailer, kind of showing footage we've already seen, maybe a few glimpses of things we haven't seen, and just saying at the end, like, pre-order now. Could be like a 30-second trailer, for all we know. That would not necessarily fall in line with full-blown marketing, but it would set it up nicely to where it's enough to get people excited. It's enough to let everybody know you can pre-order the game. But yeah, I guess expecting gameplay right now is maybe a bit too soon. That's true. They always do a slow rollout. The truth is they don't have to do anything right now. The marketing is being driven by the fans, and the excitement. So, thanks, Capono. You have a way to make me feel great. He's only 30. He's only in his 30s. Imagine when he's 50. Yeah, imagine when I'm 50, man. I don't know. Maybe I can change my lifestyle to where I'll actually be more resilient. Maybe not resilient, but I don't know. I'll be in the best shape of my life when I'm in my 50s. It's doubtful, but Nicodemus is saying you're 20 hours into Mouse PI, getting close to beating it. Insane value for $30. Yeah, I've been hearing really good things about Mouse PI. The Dan Man, yeah, absolutely. The back is a fragile thing. Well, let me give you guys a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. One of the major topics we're going to be discussing is the fact that it does seem like Sony is going back to some classic PlayStation IP. It seems as though, if recent rumors and reports are to be believed, Sony has been listening. Maybe. A lot of people have been asking them to go back to classic IP and classic franchises, and we haven't really heard anything. It seems like they've just been ignoring us, but now we're starting to hear some rumblings that things might actually be in the works. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about exclusivity once again. Is Xbox returning to exclusives? This is the topic that everybody keeps discussing. And we have Corey, the legend Landiga, coming in, doing what he does. I just realized I don't have my keyboard. He drops 5 member gifts on you guys. And hey, shout out Dwayne. Dwayne Johnson finally got a member gift. Dude, he's been waiting to get a member gift for, I think, literally like over 2 months now. So today is his lucky day. Corey, thank you so much for that, man. Dwayne is hype. Metal Gear 69 also got one. So, Corey.
I'm no hero. Never was.
That's for you, man.
Never will be.
And I'll add that to the goal. Yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, you know how we do it here. You can drop a member gift, contribute to the goal. We hit 25, we'll feed the beast. I will have to get up to do that, but it's not a big deal because I'm going to need an excuse to move around anyway. And you can also become a channel member, or you can drop a super chat or direct donation. These are all ways in which you can support the content, the community, and what I do here directly. Simply could not do it without you guys, so thank you so much for that. And it's good to see people who've been hoping to get a membership gift finally get one. He says he does it for the boss. You know what's funny is, as you can see, Papa has made himself right at home. I didn't expect that of all the places in my home, he was going to make his spot. I didn't think it would literally be right next to me on the other side of the sofa. So that is a new cat, yes. His name is Papa. He was actually my cousin's, my late cousin who passed away last year. It was his cat, and so my aunt was taking care of him for a while, but she was having trouble, so she asked if I could take him. And so, yeah. He looks like Leia, but like a bigger version of Leia. He's really, really chill, though, I have to admit. It's like he's not even here. So he's really well behaved. Really grateful for that. The only thing is, when it comes to treats, he only eats the brand Greenies. The treats that I normally give Boss and Luna and Clark and Leia, he doesn't eat them. So I'll have to buy some of those. You didn't even see him there. He's camoed. Yeah, dude, he looks like a pillow. Hold on, what is this? Many insiders point to the next state of play. It will be, you said Buffy, but I think you meant to say Buff with first-party games. And there's a rumor about Half-Life 2 there. Wait, Half-Life 2? What? Half-Life 2 is an old game. Or wait, yeah, did you mean Half-Life 3? Oh, Hogwarts Legacy 2. Okay. Okay. My bad. Yeah, when I see HL, my mind naturally goes to Half-Life. I was going to say Half-Life 2 being a big announcement at the State of Play sounds, boy oh boy. Half-Life 3 is going to be announced at State of Play. Alongside the Steam Machine price and release date. Yes. Yes. How long has my back been hurt for? I think it's going on close to 4 weeks now. Yeah. It could take three months for it to heal. It could take up to a year. It's difficult to determine, man. So I'm just taking it day by day. But we are going to talk about exclusivity. And I'm going to have to look into where that Hogwarts Legacy 2 rumor is coming from, because that would be pretty big. I'm not going to lie. That would be pretty big. Cheese and Chainsaws with a £5 super chat. You're saying, I know you are interested in Forza 6 when it goes to PlayStation. In my opinion, the best one yet. It's so fun. Apparently 1 million players already. So it seems a lot bought the early access. Yeah, I saw it's apparently broken all the records so far on Steam concurrent players. I don't know if it's just for Forza or for racing games in general, but I believe it's doing very well. And I think that... Oh, hey, boss. I I think that if Microsoft is considering going back to timed exclusivity potentially, or any type of exclusivity, where we'll release it first on Xbox and then bring it to PlayStation, a game like Forza Horizon 6 might be a great test for them, because I think there's going to be about a 6-month window. And my guess is this is one of those games that they actually can do that with. It's going to sell very well on Xbox. It's going to sell very well on PC. And then when it comes to PlayStation 6 months later, it's also going to sell very well on PlayStation. I don't know that that would work for every game, but considering how big Forza is, and it does seem like with every entry, they're just getting bigger and better. So I'm glad to hear that it's the best one so far, because it is one of those things where it's like, are they going to be able to top Forza Horizon 5? You know, they keep raising the bar each time. And I did see that Forza Horizon 6 is the highest rated game of the year as well. So once again, man, shout out to Playground Games. I know that some people here are hypercritical of Xbox. I've been very critical of Xbox myself, but I'm a big believer in giving credit where it's due. And, you know, when it comes to making an open world racer, Microsoft has the crown jewel studio that does it. But yeah, we are going to talk about exclusivity, because I just realized, hold on, all of my tabs are closed. Let me fix that, because that's going to be a problem. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I'm going to have to reopen those. Okay. Let me. Can I move this? Dude, you're that desperate for treats, boss? He's literally like touching my hand like, please give me the treats. Dude. Relax. We got a little bit of time. You can have some patience. I fed you a couple of hours ago, bro. All right, I got my tabs back up. And we have PSP Reviewer 100. Long time no see, PSP Reviewer. He comes in, he drops a single member gift for you. He sees boss. He sees how he's begging me for treats. Thank you for that, buddy. That brings us up to 6 on the day. And we'll keep climbing. We'll keep it going. We'll see if we can hit that 25 mark and we can satiate boss here. Big noise, really? That's how you feel about Forza? I also missed a super chat from Armani Coleman. Thank you for the $5 chat. He says, I got the deluxe edition for Batman. I get to play it tomorrow at 9 p.m., 8 more days until 007 First Light. I'm going to mostly be doing punches and kicks. Bro's going to play the entirety of 007 just meleeing. Just complete melee, even when it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, honestly, with how good the melee combat looks in that game, I could see somebody trying to do a melee only run. I wonder if it will let you do that, though. But yeah, Lego Batman's coming out, and I actually want to play that. I think that's my next game. See, this is how I know I'm going to get to Pragmata later this year. I'm still finishing up Saros. I want to get to Lego Batman. Can you not try to claw my crotch? Thanks, boss. Not trying to hurt me in my most vulnerable spot. Okay. And PSP Reviewer 100, he drops another member gift. He's dropping the singles today. He's reminding everybody, you can always drop a single gift, which does contribute. Thank you for that, PSP Reviewer. One would hope Forza would encourage PlayStation to make a good racing game. Well, I think a lot of people consider Gran Turismo a good racing game, Nicodemus. 007 looks really good. Lego Batman looks really good. They're launching within like a week of one another. So, I mean, geez, man. This is what I'm talking about. These games could come out at any time, but they got to launch literally within 1 week. Dwayne, you're looking forward to Batman. And Cheese and Chainsaws, thank you for the super chat. He says, we know they're not doing exclusives. If they were going back to it, it would have been the first announcement. But no, they PR talk around it, timed. Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you, Cheese and Chainsaws. I think that, I mean, the whole idea is like Asha Sharma is coming in and doesn't really know, how the industry works. But I have to imagine she was briefed on enough things going into this. Like, she's not going into it completely blind. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's my assumption. And I feel like she probably very quickly, at the very least, she's had discussions with Phil Spencer on why this happened. She can't be that in the dark about it. It wouldn't make any sense. I'm going to talk more in depth about that, though, because there's actually there is a opinion piece article that Windows Central put out talking about them going back to exclusivity. And we'll cover that as well. We will talk a little bit more about GTA 6. Apparently, there are now reports, which are not necessarily surprising, but still interesting nonetheless, that GTA 6 is not actually going to have a normal review cycle, as in review copies of this game are not going to be distributed. They're going to be apparently flying out journalists or taking them to a secure location and letting them play the game and preview it. And I don't know if it'll be like that's how they're going to review it, or if it's going to be more along the lines of like that's just purely a preview cycle. There's not going to be reviews for this game until after it comes out. But it makes sense. It makes sense. They're going to blindfold them. I saw somebody say some Area 51 type stuff going on. It's a bit much, but for a game like GTA 6, it makes sense. And Cheese and Chainsaw says, sad to see GTA 6 doing paid reviews. I don't really read it like that. I don't know why. I mean, there's this whole idea that they're going to fly them out, give them the 5-star treatment. I mean, they could do that. And that wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that. I think Konami did that with Metal Gear Solid 5. Something similar, come to think of it, where they flew all the reviewers out, put them up in really nice hotels, covered the bill, and let them just, like, have a good old time. I mean, does stuff like that positively influence a review? Probably, even if it's on a subconscious level. But, we've talked about this before, right? How, Take-Two Interactive is just waiting. And they're nervous about those review outlets that are going to be like, yeah, we're going to give it a 5. For no other reason than we just want the attention. It's a shame. They're doing paid reviews. How much you want? How much do we need to give you to give us a 10 out of 10? How much? PSP Reviewer 100 with a super chat says, did you see Hassan was playtesting Abandoned Gospels of Blood? I didn't see that myself, but I had people come into my chat telling me about that. I think it was like a couple weeks ago at this point. Are you telling me Abandoned is going to be a real game after all? Gospels of Blood? I mean, dude, if we end up actually getting a game, how could we not at least check it out? PSP reviewers like, I guess so. I guess we are. Blue box forever, man. Hey, they gave us the good memories. Boss, okay, no. You can't do that. You can't do that. Relax. Do you have to face that? You have to face that way. Why don't you turn around this way? Okay. That's cool. You do you, boss. Jake, thank you for that, buddy. That was the best summer in gaming history. In gaming history, he said. There's never been a better summer. That's funny. That's funny, man. I mean, we did have a good time. We did have a good time. Okay, but okay. Uh that's fine. All right, guys, listen. Cats do what they want. Let him lap loaf. Lap loaf. That's true. They do what they want. Guys, do me a favor. We're gonna dive into some of these topics here. We're gonna be a little bit all over the place as we usually are, but if you enjoy Press X podcast, if you enjoy the streams, please just take a moment and hit that like button. It helps with YouTube's algorithm and it lets me know you guys enjoy it. But I want to start here talking about PlayStation returning to their classic IPs and classic games. Boss, you like getting hair everywhere, man. I'm like inhaling the hair. All right, so this comes from VGC's Jordan Midler. Okay, he's been pretty accurate in the past, and I think he would be considered overall reliable. And so on the most recent VGC podcast, hold on. I have to read Russell Carey super chat, which came in very randomly. Hold on. He says, ugly, blue-haired lettuce lickers ruined gaming. They did, Russell. They did. Those... I'm Russell, thank you so much for waiting until I decided to start the first topic to drop that on us. Dillo, it's best we don't ask. Let's not inquire further. Nicodemus says, couldn't have said it better myself. You know what? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to say one more thing before I continue with the topic. Listen, man. I spent all of yesterday playing Soros. And I'm at the very, very last part of the secret ending. Okay? And this game is pretty good, man. Even the story. Even the story. I'm going to do a spoiler cast for it probably at some point soon. So if you're interested in that, look forward to it. But it's a good game, man. But it's okay. You don't have to like it. Anyway, yes, going back to the topic. So now we will start topic number 1. Quiet, Nicodemus. So Jordan Midler on the most recent VGC podcast, he said, quote, there is a groundswell of people that want Infamous. I'm under the impression that there is an Infamous thing happening somewhere else in PlayStation at the minute. Now, what's worth noting here is that he also talked about the idea of maybe Ape Escape coming back as well, hinting that Sony may have greenlit some type of Ape Escape project. But Greg Miller of Kinda Funny decided to call Jordan Midler, I think, during his podcast, and asked him to give more details. And Jordan Midler explained that he only got this from one source, so he has not been able to corroborate it. So we have to keep that in mind, take it with a grain of salt. But he also did state that it was heavily implied that it's actually going to be a remake collection of some kind. I don't know if it's like a singular remake combining the first and the second game or 2 individual remakes, but Infamous 1 and 2 are apparently going to get the remake treatment. We don't know who's working on it. It is implied that Sucker Punch will not be the one doing the remakes. that another studio would do it, which is very strange when you consider that Blue Point was just shut down. You would think they would be the ones to do it, potentially. But there's something else I want to highlight here that I think is worth taking a moment to point out. So Colin Moriarty actually he quote tweeted my post talking about this. And he actually pointed something out that I was not aware of, but I think does add some credence to this rumor. Colin says, Jordan is well connected and reliable, so I trust him. It sounds like he thinks it's potentially Infamous 1 and 2 related. But what's also interesting is that Sucker Punch has, as far as I can tell, deleted its July 2022 blog post saying they had no plans for more Infamous. And yes, if you go back to 2022, they came out and they straight up said, we're not working on anything related to Infamous or Sly Cooper, nor are any other studios. That post has been deleted. We don't know when it was deleted, but this definitely, I would say, helps connect the dots here, in that at some point a decision was made to do something with Infamous. And then there's one last thing I want to highlight that I think adds even more credence to this report. And it's the fact that if we go back to July of 2025, there was an interview that was being done with Game Informer and the director of Ghost of Yote, Nate Fox. And well, I pulled this from the write-up. It says, Nate Fox said, while he would love to work on more Infamous content, Sucker Punch is currently focused on developing one game at a time. Quote, I would love to work on more Infamous. I would love to see a trilogy re-release, but Sucker Punch is a one game at a time shop, and right now we are very focused on finishing Ghost of Yote. So I wanted to highlight this as well because I think it potentially, I think he may have been potentially hinting at the fact that I'd love to see an Infamous collection, wink, wink, it's happening. We're not doing it, but somebody else is. So there you go, man. I got one last thing here, and Cheese, I'm going to read your super chat, but I want to throw this in here for good measure. Somebody asked Nate the Hate, another pretty reliable insider. He says, is it true what's going around that Sony is going to bring back some IPs? Motorstorm, Sly Cooper, Ape Escape, SOCOM. Nate the Hate responded by saying, there is truth to Sony exploring and considering reviving some of their older, unused IPs. So, yeah, man, something seemingly has shifted internally at Sony where they are finally doing what maybe they should have been doing this whole time. And Cheese with the super chat says, I feel like if they brought Infamous back, Cole McGrath would likely get replaced with a newer character or a female protagonist. He was boring AF. I never did get to play the original Infamous games. So I have to admit that the idea of getting a remake or even like a remaster collection of the first and second game, that would be really interesting to me because, well, I do want to play those games. I played Infamous Second Son and I did enjoy it, but everybody would tell me that the first two Infamous games were actually much better. A lot of people look at Infamous Second Son as the worst one. I can't speak to Cole McGrath as a character. I mean, if they're going to remake it, I can't imagine they would replace him. That would cause so much backlash. I think maybe the idea would be they do a remake collection of the first and second game, see what the response is to that, and if it gets a really positive response, maybe they consider actually greenlighting a brand new Infamous. Maybe that's where Sucker Punch wants to return. They want to actually go back and make a new Infamous, not another Ghost game. Maybe then they bring in a new character. Because it's interesting what you're saying about Cole McGrath being like a boring character, because I feel like people didn't like Delson Rowe either, the main character of Infamous Second Son, which was actually played by Troy Baker. But I remember a lot of people being like, bro, he's so lame. So is this just like a recurring theme with the Infamous games where the main characters are just not very interesting? And Henry 3K Uses his milestone chat. He's been a member for 37 months. Thank you for that, Henry. He says, how are you, MBG? Hope the recovery is going well. I'm looking forward towards the infamous remake since I never played the original. We're in the same boat then. And I don't know, I'm in like a weird place right now. I have moments where I'm feeling better, days where I'm feeling less pain, but then other times the pain comes back excruciatingly so. So I can't really say how it's going. But I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get some type of answer. You think Delson holds infamous Second Son back? You aren't ready for the plot twists of the two games, man? Well, there's another question I have. And it's like, if Sucker Punch isn't remaking, if they're not the ones remaking the infamous games, then who would be doing it? Because the only other studio that to me would have immediately made sense and came to my mind would have been Bluepoint. But Bluepoint's off the table now. So I can't imagine it would be an internal studio. I can't imagine that if they were doing a remake of Infamous 1 and 2, there's not an internal first-party PlayStation studio that would be developing it. And so this would mean it would have to go to an external partner. I mean, are there any external studios that you can think of? Oh, maybe Nixxes. Oh. Huh. Nixxes would be a really interesting one. Okay, maybe Nixxes could be the one to do it. That's true, too. You're saying People Can Fly is making a game for PlayStation. They are making a game for PlayStation, but, well, they did also say that they're making a game based on an established IP. Is it possible People Can Fly are doing an Infamous 1 and 2 remake? Do they seem like the appropriate studio to do something like that? I mean, I won't lie to you. When I think of People Can Fly, I can't imagine them. I don't know why. I can't imagine them working on something Infamous related. It just doesn't seem like it's their wheelhouse. Yeah, people believe that People Can Fly are working on something Resistance related, because that feels like it kind of meshes better with what that studio is kind of known for and what they've worked on. I don't know. That'd be crazy if Nixxes is the new Bluepoint. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Like, we're not doing PC ports anymore, so there's only room for one remake studio. Who's it going to be, Nixxes or Bluepoint? But even then, that doesn't make sense, because it's like Bluepoint was the last one to actually deliver a remake. Oh, man. Don't get me going on Bluepoint again. I still can't believe that, dude. And you know what? You watch. In the coming months, we're going to find out that somebody bought Bluepoint. You watch. I bet you somebody bought them. And I'm just going to be looking at Sony. Cheese and Chainsaws with the £2 super chat saying 1 and 2 sold 7 million combined. Second Son sold 5.6 million. Growth? You know, that's interesting, actually. I didn't realize those games actually sold that. I mean, that's pretty good. 5.6 million for Second Son. I think that was like a launch window PS4 game, so that's actually really not bad at all. Maybe maybe they could really return to Infamous in a more serious way and make that a more staple series and franchise. I mean, I listen, from what I played in Infamous Second Son, I really enjoyed it. Like, I still feel like a lot of that game, I mean, it's inspired by, like, obviously superhero type stuff, because you're gaining these powers, but I still remember gaining like the neon ability and how just cool it looked and how cool it felt. And it wasn't, there were, like, to me, there definitely felt like there was significant room for improvement, where they could do more with it. But I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And, obviously I have no problem that they wanted to shift to Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei. Those games are amazing too. But I'm not going to lie, after Ghost of Yotei, I kind of would feel like, hey, if you guys want to go back to Infamous, I'd be down for that. Like 100%. And if in the meantime you want to drop a remake or have another studio drop a remake collection of 1 and 2 so people like me can, play it and catch up. And then, Second Son is there for people who want to play it through backwards compatibility. I do want to play 1 and 2. Yeah. People have been recommending that to me for years. And I don't know. It's always one of these things where it's like, I mean, I guess I could try to find a way to go back to PS3 and play it if I really wanted to. But I always imagine that surely, like Sony, you're going to, it's kind of like with the God of War games, right? It's like you're going to bring these games forward and resell them, right? And like for some reason, they're just like, no, we're not. It's like, what? Why? So it doesn't have to be a remake. If they just want to do a remaster collection, something pretty simple, where they're not making any major changes, it's just basically the same game, but with a new coat of paint, I'd be okay with that. I actually didn't play the First Light DLC, no. I meant to, but never got around to it. Sucker Punch also stopped the Yotei multiplayer. So I did see that. We did just get some news from Sucker Punch. The timing of this is very interesting, very peculiar. It's nothing major, but Sucker Punch has confirmed that they are no longer, like they're done supporting Ghost of Yotei now that they've released the raid for Ghost of Yotei Legends. So they're not going to be having like more DLC or it's kind of interesting. Like we got it's similar to what we heard from like Insomniac, where they're like, yeah, we're not doing DLC for Spider-Man 2. So it seems like they're just very quickly like we're moving on to the next thing. Preserve and keep the old games alive, but only if you remake them. I mean, I'll be honest, man, like I do think Sony is leaving so much money on the table by not having a studio, even if it's like, I'll give you a perfect example. If you're Sony, why not just use Nixxes now that you're potentially done doing PC ports? Have Nixxes do PS5 collections. Do an Infamous 1 and 2 collection, remaster them. They don't have to be remakes. And then sell it for like $30. Even $40 if you want to. I mean, it's a bit stretching it, but $20 per game, that's not too bad. And I feel like stuff like that would go down so well, man. Especially with people like me, where it's like, yeah, I miss some of these games. Why not do a God of War collection? Why not do a Killzone collection? Or we don't know that Nixxes is done with PC ports. We're just assuming that because we heard the report that apparently they canceled, Sony that is, they canceled a port of Sorrows for PC, and they also canceled Ghost of Yotei's PC port. And so the idea is Nixxes is going to have to do other stuff. The most recent thing that Nixxes software did was help with Sorrows. They actually helped with the development of that. So for now, they could just be playing the role of a support studio, but I don't know. I feel like if I was Sony, I'd be like, why not give them some IP to make collections for? Maybe they're going to do that for the PS6. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Ray, thank you for the Sunday, bro. Appreciate that. Maybe Nixxes are doing a collection for PC. I mean, that's a possibility. If they are going to do collections, maybe one thing Sony could do is like, if they do task them with doing collections, let's say for the PS6, they also want to release them on PC. I mean, I don't think that would hurt anything, Nixxes already obviously is very experienced doing PC ports. If they could figure out how to like do simple, basic remasters of games, then why not have them do both? I don't know. We still don't know Sony's strategy here. It's still not made clear. There does seem to be more evidence, I would say, generally speaking, that points to them maybe wanting to pull back on PC ultimately outside of live service. No, you think they shouldn't release it to PC? You think that they should just make it PlayStation only? Bismarck129 with a super chat says it's unlikely, but a Medieval 2 remake would be good. Yeah, they did remake or remaster. No, I guess it was a remake. Other Ocean, is that the studio that did it? They did a Medieval 1 remake, and I don't think that did very well, to be honest, because I thought they would have done a sequel to it, because I know there was a Medieval 2. MBG, GTA 6 trailer 3 tomorrow or not? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe. Don't put me on the spot like that. I don't know. But, I think that this basically confirms. Well, maybe confirms isn't the right word, but we have numerous reports, and we're hearing from different people that basically Sony is now looking to revive dormant classic IP. This to me is a very good sign because it's something that I think they're going to need to do. I think now that they've went through the turbulence of trying to break into the live service space, and they've had a little bit of success but a lot of failure, and they've wasted a lot of time and money and effort, they're going to need to maybe do some things going into the PlayStation 6 that are, more surefire bets with especially their more core audience. And I feel like, going back to some of your classic IP is a great way to do that. The real questions are what IP is going to get revived and who's going to be doing it. I've heard recently, I forget where I heard it, but apparently Sony is now very open to talking to external partners and giving them IP. So we could see Sony go a little bit crazy in this area if they're really serious about it. And that would be great. That would be great for the PlayStation 6 because, again, man, this entire generation, I've seen PlayStation fans practically begging Sony to start doing stuff like this, to just acknowledge the existence of their classic IP and do something with it, anything at all. So maybe that time has finally come. MBG, today is my cousin P. Lump's birthday. Can you please give him a shout out? He's a huge fan. Sure, happy birthday, P. Lumps. I feel like I'm saying something. I shouldn't be saying. Well, there you go. You're welcome. So I can't tell, if I'm being set up sometimes, I can't tell. GTA 5 Trailer 3 was April for a September release. So 5 months before launch. June maybe for GTA 6. Well, I think I just saw that Take-Two Interactive, apparently the CEO, Strauss-Zelnick, he did just, I think literally today, reaffirm that it's releasing November 19th. So it's not getting delayed. That seems pretty clear. Oh. Just that. He knocked it over. He's like, I don't need that pillow. How much would it cost to remake some of these games? Probably not much. I mean, it definitely would cost money. It costs, I don't know, maybe like 50 million. Maybe that's too much. Maybe like 30 million. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive these days. Unknown. See, what is that? What is that? Red Dead Redemption 3 has been delayed. Damn. They delayed it. Does Papa sleep a lot? Yeah, he's a lazy cat, dude. I'm not gonna lie. He's a lazy boy. But he's peaceful, you know? He's chill. What games would I like to see get remade? I mean, I would be open to. I have to say, I'd pretty much be open to anything at this point, you know. But honestly, Infamous 1 and 2 would be on my list where I would like to experience those games. I would like to see some Killzone games maybe get remastered. If not Killzone, I think SOCOM would be fantastic, but I'm not sure that they would do SOCOM without trying to have some kind of significant multiplayer element. MGS1 could always, yeah, MGS. I mean, MGS1. They're gonna have to. Konami's gonna have to remake that. Yes, I want another Last of Us remaster for the PS6, guaranteed, dude. If they remaster The Last of Us for PS6, I'm gonna snap. Everybody's gonna snap. The Order 1886. Oh wow, Nicodemus, that's pretty cool, dude. Peanut, I like it. Motorstorm would be cool. That'd be a fun one. Warhawk, SOCOM, and Warhawk slash Starhawk for a live service agenda. I mean, I don't know. Could they remaster a game and make it a live service? I feel like a game like SOCOM or even like Warhawk or Starhawk, they would need some updated mechanics. I think it would have to be more than just a remaster, to be honest, in order for them to work properly, to actually like be viable multiplayer experiences in like 2027, 2028. Destruction Derby. People have been waiting for a Bully remake or sequel for a long time. There's been like rumblings of that for years, but I don't know. Rockstar, it it almost seems to me like they really are not worried about their other IPs, not until GTA 6 is out. But yeah, I did figure it was worth talking to you guys about this because again, it's one of these situations where as we get closer to 2027, 2027 is when next gen is going to kick off. It's when Sony's going to be finally announcing the PlayStation 6, fully revealing it, and then releasing it, assuming it doesn't get delayed. Uh, with that, they're also going to have to make it clear that they have a new strategy. And one of the ways they could make that clear is with announcing some classic games getting remasters or collections or just some IPs being revived. I think that would be a great way to help get the PlayStation 6 off to a solid start. Whether they're exclusive to PS6 or not doesn't really matter as much as it just matters that that would be a signal. That would be a clear message being delivered that, okay, we hear you. We're going to start bringing back some of these IP. But, it's going to be one of those situations where some people are going to be upset because the IP that they wanted to come back might not, right? But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, yeah, Konami and PlayStation have a very good partnership. Ever since Konami got serious about trying to come back to AAA gaming, it seems like Sony was like right there being like, let's talk, let's negotiate. And that's still happening now. I mean, dude, Konami had a whole segment at the last State of Play. Resistance would be a good one. Yeah, that would be a good one too, actually. I never really got to play the Resistance games. I think I remember playing a little bit of the first one, but it wasn't mine. was playing it somewhere for a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Hear me out. Sony and Konami present Metal Gear Rising 2. You think they're looking at Nintendo and focusing on new and old IP to grow it? They know they rely too much on third party. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think Sony needs to, if there's one thing that we have learned over the years with Sony is that, yeah, the majority of their success as a business, PlayStation that is, comes from third party. And that's fine. Like, that's not a bad thing, but it doesn't secure them as much as they would probably want it to, right? Like, if they can have more successful IP that they can kind of lean on, it doesn't mean it's going to come at the expense of third party. It just means it's going to kind of secure them even further, where if things start to go haywire with some third parties, because the thing about Sony being so reliant on third parties is they can't control that. They can't they can't control the quality of the games per se, or the direction that the series are going to go in. It's like when we saw how Call of Duty Black Ops 7 did poorly. It's a good thing Battlefield 6 was there for Sony, because like Black Ops 6 or Black Ops 7 sold poorly enough that if Battlefield 6 didn't make up for it, Sony would have felt that. And they have no control over that. It's like, yeah, dude, it's not Sony's fault that people aren't interested in Black Ops 7, but it is kind of Sony's fault that, like, you rely on this game every year to do heavy ass lifting for you. So, if something goes wrong with a major third party, Sony will feel that. And if they can have more successful IP that is 100% theirs, and they can be strong IP, that can just help pad that out a little bit. Bully 3, they act like everyone missed the sequel, and then they re-release it. Industry changes all the time. Imagine a drop-off on third-party or different percentages rights in the future. Sony can't afford to not have a backup plan. Agreed. Well, hopefully Sony realizes that them going in this direction, I don't think can hurt. We just saw that there is a new widget on the PlayStation 5 welcome tab or homepage. And this new widget shows you the weekly player counts for the top 10 most played games or trending games. But it's in a beta phase right now. And the top 10 games so far are all live service games. Not a single player game, not a single Sony game either. This is where, when we look at PlayStation as a business and why they are making certain decisions, I mean, dude, it is hard to look at that and not act like it's like we don't understand why Sony's trying to break out in live service. I mean, people don't seem to understand. Thank you for the flow state. People don't seem to understand that, like, it's not necessarily a problem in the now that those are the most played games on PlayStation. But the problem is Sony knows that those top 10 most played games this past week, that's driving the most amount of revenue for their platform and their console. And the fact that they're not involved with that, with any of those games, like, there's not a single thing Sony can point to in that top 10 that they can say, that's ours, It's just, you can understand why they're like, we need to get some of our own games on there. But it also speaks to just where we are within the industry as a whole, the fact that there's not one single player game on there. Also, was Roblox not on there? 15 times more people playing Call of Duty than Soros, and that's the reality. that is the reality that Sony has to look at and think, what do we do with that? It's an app. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that would definitely be on there, I would assume. But that's where Sony has to think about, what are we going to do with that knowledge? What are we going to do with the knowledge that a game like Saros potentially sells poorly? It's our own game with our own studio. And, we maybe, I'm not saying they're going to lose money on it, but there's a possibility they could lose money on it. Maybe not a lot, but a loss is a loss. Sony has to really, is the answer make Housemarque make a live service game? I don't think so. But I don't know. My hope is that Sony understands that you can kind of do all these things. In other words, let Housemarque be what they're going to be. Take the win that is one of the most highly rated games of the year so far, a game that might win some awards potentially, and that, the people who bought it probably enjoyed it. Let them just do their thing, and you can still pursue certain live service games. You can still go in other directions. I don't necessarily think one thing has to come at the expense of the other all the time. But that is the situation, where it's during a time when they're releasing the top player counts for games on the PlayStation platform, they also released an exclusive that is nowhere to be found. And I say that as somebody who's very much enjoying the game. I don't know. Sony's just got to be careful. They got to be careful. They got to play it smart. Hopefully they don't rush into anything. I think they already tried to do that with live service and saw how that goes. There is no answer. The economic class of people who bought consoles and games are circling the plug hole. That's a crazy term, Titus. Oh, God. Here comes the pain. Hold on, I have to pop out the chat again. Well, I do think, that's the thing, though. Sony also, I don't want to it is important to understand that with what we're saying, it's still okay. It is okay that Sony is finding success through these third-party games. It's a viable business model. It's just one that lacks a certain safety net that if Sony has the ability to do so, they should try to create that safety net themselves, just in case. The idea is they won't ever need the safety net, but it's there just in case. I don't want to make it sound because it sounds weird. It's man, Sony, you're doing so well, but that's a problem. It's well, there's there's pros and cons to everything. Well, that's the thing. I think Sony's pretty close to having both. They have Gran Turismo 7 as a successful live service. They have Helldivers 2. They have MLB The Show. So they have these live service titles. Now they have Marathon. Don't know if that's doing well, though. They seem to still believe in it. But then they have, tentpole single-player games. So, even though Saros is the game I pointed out, Wolverine is coming this year. And, Wolverine is going to be a big deal for them. That's absolutely a big deal. And I do see people try to downplay Wolverine, and I try not to overhype it. But it's that's a big deal. That's a game that a lot of publishers would love to have, especially with Insomniac's pedigree. So it's not bad per se. It's just there are areas where I think Sony maybe is now waking up to the understanding that it could be better, and you could be doing yourself more favors. You could be constructing that safety net in a more logical way by trying to revive some classic IP and rallying some of your more, loyal fans and people who want that stuff. The next Call of Duty will top the charts. Probably, yeah. It's going to be Modern Warfare 4, so probably. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next topic here, guys. That's pretty much all I have to say for now about. Yeah, that's a Call of Duty 6-7 pre-order now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 6-7. Guys, do me a favor. We're gonna move on to the next topic, which talks about Xbox maybe or maybe not returning to exclusivity. So before we do that, do me a favor and hit that like button, okay? If you're enjoying the stream and you want to help it out, hit that like button. I have a write-up here, and it caught my attention yesterday, mainly because of how many people I saw responding to it. And what really caught my attention is the amount of people that I saw thinking that, yeah, like, maybe exclusives are coming back. And excuse me. So this was written up by Jez Corden. It says, I reckon Asha Sharma wants to give Xbox its exclusive games back, but these PlayStation comments reveal why Microsoft probably won't let her. It's the year of GTA 6. The game has an exclusive PlayStation marketing deal. Call of Duty is also not launching on PS4 this year, giving holdouts a reason to upgrade. So why is Sony warning investors of decreased sales? And why is this relevant to Xbox exclusive games? Let's talk. Somehow the opening line to this article about Xbox exclusives is about Sony warning investors of lower sales. That's funny shit. No, I do think it's relevant. It's just funny, but I do think it's relevant. I actually know what he's talking about. Oh my god. All right. Cheese and Chainsaws, you're saying with the super chat they can't have exclusives because they are PC day one. Well, yeah. So we should clarify that when we talk about Xbox returning to exclusivity, when anybody talks about it, it's under the assumption that all games are still PC day one. So true exclusivity, like as in this box and this game, like this is, you can only play this game on this box. True exclusivity is non-existent. That's obviously never coming back for Xbox. We don't even talk about it in that sense anymore because it just doesn't make it. It's just not happening. There's no way they would ever do that. That'd be sick if they tried to, though, but they won't. It'd be so funny to see them try to do that. I hear you, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma said when asked about Xbox exclusives. It's the most fractious debate around Xbox in recent times, that of exclusive content. A couple of years ago, Xbox announced it will no longer have exclusive games, as if it was something to be proud of. Digital platforms revolve around exclusive content. I subscribe to Netflix to exclusively get WWE. I subscribe to Disney Plus to exclusively get Star Wars content. I buy a Nintendo Switch to get access to Mario and Super Metroid. The list goes on. And it's an obvious narrative to sell consumers. Join our ecosystem, get exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Microsoft disagrees. Microsoft's pursuit of a 30% gaming margin led Xbox to start putting its games like Halo, Forza, Gears of War, and Fable onto other platforms. In some cases, it shouted this from the rooftops in a celebratory manner, alongside its much heated or hated "This is an Xbox" campaign, which inexplicably marketed competitor platforms who would love nothing more than to see Windows and Xbox die. Without exclusive content, it seems inevitable that Xbox has decreased desirability with fewer users. You risk putting the platform into a death spiral. Fewer users means more games exclusively skipping the platform, which in turn means fewer users. This dark cloud has been hanging over Xbox for years now, with customers and developers alike worried for its long-time viability. So I just want to acknowledge first off here with this opinion piece, like, I don't disagree with anything Jez Corden's saying, but it is interesting to me, and I'm not, well, to be fair, I don't follow Jez Corden well enough to know if he was part of this group or not, but I have definitely seen over the last couple of years that he's referring to many Xbox players, and even still right now, but especially some of these influencers, everything he's saying, it was the opposite. This is good. This is better. This is the future. And if you're against this, you're now part of the problem. So, again, whether or not Jez Corden was, I don't know what his track record is here. If I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, I assume he always wanted exclusivity for Xbox. But I definitely have seen a lot of that. And so, it is interesting to think that there are 100% some Xbox players right now that are now kind of changing their tune where like, oh, wait, Xbox exclusives could come back. Okay, yeah, actually, maybe we should do that. Maybe that was better. Actually, I maybe do want that. I think we're seeing some of that, and I think, yeah, like it makes sense because again, that's probably why you're even on the Xbox platform to begin with. Timed exclusives like they've been doing is obviously the way they'll continue to go with some games day and date. So be intentionally confusing. The Microsoft way. Yes, exactly. You want answers. We will give you none while simultaneously doing multiple things at one time. Oh, God. Sorry, just a little bit of an aside here. Like right now, the I'm experiencing pain in my arm coming down this way. Not in my back, not in my neck, just right here in my arm. And it feels like my muscles are throbbing or like they're tight. See that's what I don't know if I should be like I don't know how worried I should be about that. No chest pain, no back pain right now, no neck pain. Just I could tell it's nerve pain though, because it's running down almost like a string or something, or like a wire. Was I lifting recently? Not really, no. It's just weird. Like, I don't know, man. Shit's freaking me out. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I hope it is. Like, I feel okay. My grip strength is okay. I can move okay. It just hurts. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like what sciatica is, except for the arm. That's kind of what it feels like, actually. That's a good description. Maybe that's good. I don't know. Why am I like a 50-year-old man, dude? Sorry. All right, let me get back on track. Let me continue reading this. Okay. The article from Windows Central's Jez Corden continues. I believe the new CEO, Asha Sharma, wants to bring Xbox exclusives back. If you look into her background at Instacart, it was built on exclusivity deals for e-commerce fulfillment. She mentioned the idea of exploring exclusive games for Xbox again. She has a real competitor spirit, something Microsoft seems to lack under Satya Nadella. But there's a big problem. What's the point of creating desire, marketing, and exclusive content for your hardware ecosystem when you can't actually procure stock to sell? Indeed, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are already selling through every unit they can get their hands on. Yes, even Xbox. The demand is there. But the price of memory and other components has broken the business model, and the big three are all impacted. It doesn't leave Asha Sharma with a lot of wiggle room. Okay, so, all right. I'm going to have to call this part out. That's not true. Like, at all. I understand what was just written there makes it sound like the reason why Xbox is struggling to sell is because they can't, they can't procure enough components, or it's too expensive. No, the reason why Xbox isn't selling is because it's just not. It hasn't been selling for years. It's not even due to the price increases. I mean, the price increases did not help anything at all. But the truth is, Xbox consoles sales basically fell off a cliff at the end of 2023, going into 2024. So I'm highlighting that because I think that's going to be important. That's going to be important. ABG, the Ghost of Yotei online mode has been ditched by Sucker Punch. I'm not surprised. I mean, well, they didn't ditch it. They didn't set it up as a live service. Blund with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. You're saying Bill Gates removed all stock from Microsoft about a day ago. I think the end is near for Microsoft. Only one I see maybe staying around is Nintendo, if lucky. Oh, I didn't know that. No, I don't know that. I don't know. I guess that is not good for Microsoft, but I don't think it's the end. Certainly not. It's not the end of Xbox either, but it's an interesting time right now where there's so much fixation, which, I'm interested in, certainly. Obviously, I'm very interested in it. Of like, will they go back to exclusives? But this is the first part of the article that I had to say I completely disagree with. Yes, PlayStation consoles are still selling. They have been. Whether or not they are selling as well now, I doubt it. Nintendo Switch is selling great. The Switch 2. To kind of like put Xbox in there, like, yeah, Xbox is selling good too. We need a reality check here. It's not. I'm not console warring. I'm not fanboying. I'm just saying it is what it is. And it's so important in this conversation because here's the reality. This is the reality check. The reality is if Xbox was selling well, they probably would still have exclusives. That's the big thing here. If Xbox was selling just as well as PlayStation and Nintendo, you bet your bottom dollar they would have exclusives. And that's kind of why I'm interested to see where else this goes, because I wasn't expecting that. That kind of threw me for... That was like a curveball right there. Cheese and Chainsaws, you're saying Gates had a deal to remove his shares by a date. Okay, so it was planned then. Yeah, so maybe it's not that big of a deal at all then. Isn't Forza 6 technically an exclusive? Technically, right now, it is exclusive, yes. Yeah. But it's just in this awkward position where it cannot be celebrated as an exclusive or even really talked about in a meaningful way as an exclusive because Playground has went out of their way to tell everybody we are bringing this to PlayStation in a couple months and we're enhancing it for the Pro and it's going to be great. So it's like interesting because I've seen on like my Twitter, again, we are talking about exclusivity in terms of Microsoft. Yes, that includes console exclusivity. That's the way to talk about it. I have seen, I see some of the nonsense where I've encountered a couple of people on Twitter, of course, where it's like, they're like, oh yeah, the ponies are waiting. And it's like, dude, I don't know, like, what ground do you think you're standing on? Do you believe you have the high ground? Because it's just strange to see that where it's like literally nobody's thinking like that. The way everybody is thinking is if I want to play Forza 6 on PlayStation, then yeah, we'll just wait a couple months and then we'll have it. I don't think any PlayStation players, truthfully, right now are like, damn, I need to go buy an Xbox for Forza 6. Now, if this game was not announced to be coming to PS5, maybe that would be different. But that's why it is peculiar to me to come across some of those individuals where it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Twitter's bad, dude. It's bad. I've been trying not to dwell over there too much these days. So do exclusives sell hardware or not? I think under certain circumstances they do, yes. But they do have to be, it has to be a particular set of circumstances. Those circumstances, in my opinion, are you have to have multiple extremely high-profile titles that are of the highest quality that are considered must-play games of the year. You have to have at least a few every single year to push alongside your console. If you don't have that, then I don't think you can sell enough hardware. But you also have to have very strong third-party support. So if you can have those two things, your chances of selling that hardware are high, in my opinion, as long as the hardware is competent and affordable, relatively affordable. I still don't get the big deal over it. If people want to play it on Xbox, fine. I did. If people want to wait for PS5, then that's also fine. Well, that's the thing. I think the big deal here is that, and I don't even think it's a big deal, but it is just a deal, right? It is a thing that's happening where there is this strange signaling happening from Xbox right now, from Asha Sharma. And a lot of the fanboys are responding as you would expect, where they're definitely, I'm seeing this, they're acknowledging the signal and they are responding. And so, yeah, I mean, like, if we get to a point where Asha Sharma announces we're doing timed exclusivity, it's like, that's still not a win. Unless it's significant, where they're like, we're doing 1 year timed exclusivity or 2 year timed exclusivity for every game. You do something really significant like that, then maybe we're talking about, okay, that could be a difference maker. But it just feels strange because it's like, but like, why? I have more to say on this, but I'll finish reading this. It says the memory. Oh, wait, hold on. The video game industry is worth more than ever overall, but the traditional platform holders are struggling from a variety of headwinds. This is the year Grand Theft Auto 6. This is the year of Grand Theft Auto 6. This is the year Call of Duty stopped shipping on past-gen consoles like the PlayStation 4. But despite this, PlayStation itself, the market leader, is warning investors that PS5 hardware sales will decline 6% year over year due to a decrease in unit sales. This follows a 46% year over year decline already reported this month. How is it that even PlayStation, who has an exclusive marketing activation with Grand Theft Auto 6, is predicting a hardware sales decline? I do want to highlight something here. And my answer to that question is this is normal. This is very normal. I do think, I don't know how he's going to answer this question, but I think people might be looking too much into that, where it's like, guys, we are in the 6th year of the PS5. This is extremely normal. Like, I'll be honest, man. I'll be honest. The fact that Sony's only predicting a 6% decrease is kind of fascinating to me, where I'm like, that's not a lot. Like, considering how expensive PlayStations are now, I would have expected that decrease percentage to be higher, or prediction to be higher. But I just feel it has to be emphasized that it is not unusual or strange by any means for a console, when entering its 6th year on the market, to start to slow down significantly. An argument absolutely could be made that minus 6% prediction could be much higher if it wasn't for GTA 6. But yeah, I do think that the circumstances are a little bit different, where this is the first time we're entering the 6th year of a console generation where the price of the console is higher, $200 higher than it was when it first launched. So, I mean, again, how is Sony not predicting a higher drop, a larger drop? That to me is almost more fascinating. We're like, these circumstances are peculiar, to say the least. But it says here, the answer is pretty simple. Amazon, Google, and other AI hyperscalers have already purchased all the memory, now and future allocations too. There's a huge shortage of components for consumer electronics, with Nintendo also raising prices specifically later this year as its fixed price component contracts expire. Console makers know that traditional gamers won't bite at these new painful higher prices, particularly when their disposable income is also seeing a generational squeeze. So that's true too. Although what he's saying about the memory, I thought this was easing up. I thought the memory shortage was easing up a bit. Am I wrong on that? It's not? So it says Microsoft. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. It says, unfortunately, the recent surge in memory and other component prices, Nintendo explained, and the changes in the market environment, including trends in the foreign exchange market and the price of oil, are all factors that we anticipate will continue over the medium to long term. Microsoft is obviously part of engineering this problem with its own hyperscaler ambitions. Unfortunately, the memory Microsoft acquired is not being sent to Xbox, it's being sent to Acer. So we can use Copilot to generate cat memes, deepfakes, and confidently incorrect LinkedIn think pieces with greater efficiency. Xbox, in essence, has been sabotaged at both ends by Microsoft here, creating a self-actuating problem and self-fulfilling prophecy. Microsoft knows Xbox can't procure memory at a reasonable price. Microsoft knows Xbox can't sell hardware at an even vaguely reasonable margin in this current climate. And Microsoft knows putting Halo, Gears, and Forza on PlayStation destroys Xbox's desirability as a hardware ecosystem. Microsoft engineered the predicament Xbox now finds itself in. CEO Satya Nadella said during the FTC trial that he hates the idea of software exclusivity, arguing against the frankly ridiculous accusations that Microsoft would move to make games like Call of Duty exclusive. Indeed, Nadella had a long history of killing any and all Microsoft hardware initiatives, with Surface on the ropes and Windows Phone 6 feet under. I'm sure if Satya Nadella had his way, Xbox would devolve into a simple publisher. It's a better margin business on paper. Microsoft wouldn't have to deal with the headaches that come with distributing hardware, providing repairs, customer service, and so on. But the credibility damage to Microsoft would be absolutely astronomical. Why would you ever put your faith in Microsoft products again if it moved to orphan tens of millions of Xbox users' digital content? Indeed, speaking to Xbox staffers in a recent internal event, Satya Nadella remarked that business clients in Acer meetings often want to talk about Xbox rather than Office 365. That's why Xbox Helix is still on the way. Microsoft knows they're in too deep with gaming to pull out of the hardware ecosystem now. Nadella said he's long on gaming, but I'm here to tell him that Xbox won't have a long life if it doesn't have some form of exclusive content. See, yeah, he used the word orphan. See, to me, this is strange. I mean, I don't know. I guess this is where the most inherent disconnect with me and Xbox players, some Xbox players, comes in. Where it's interesting to me that some people, like Jez Corden and others, he's not the only one, certainly not, they seem to be under this impression that Xbox, as a hardware manufacturer, as a console producer, can make some kind of comeback. This is strange to me, where it's like they've bottomed out, basically. It cannot really get much worse than it already is. And so this is where I kind of blame Xbox's marketing strategy for write-ups like this, where it's like they're trying to give them hope. Like, don't worry, guys, we're going back to the roots. And it's like, well, I mean, I get they're saying that to you, but it's like, you guys, like, it's like I kind of turn to, it's like, you guys understand, like, this is just marketing speak, right? Like, they're not actually, but no, like, dude, I encounter people who are like, no, I think if they make games exclusive, Helix can, like, it's going to do good. It's like, dude, Helix is going to be like $1,000. Like, you understand that, right? You understand that people weren't buying Xboxes at $400 with exclusives. This is what I don't understand. So the argument, in my opinion, that's being made here by Jez Corden and many others is, well, you guys have already lost. You've already bottomed out. And, it can't really get much worse than a PC console hybrid that's going to be potentially more than $1,000 when it comes out. Why not just go to exclusives? And it's like, but that's it right there. Like, every single thing that they've lined up tells you they shouldn't do exclusives. Every single thing that's lined up says the opposite. And I say this as somebody who can see a benefit to exclusives. But it's like, dude, if I was Microsoft, I'm looking at Project Helix, I'm like, you'd be insane. Like, I feel like I would be putting my job on the line if I'm like, we're going to make, I don't know, what would be a launch title for Helix? Do we have any idea? I don't know. I have no idea what launch titles there would be. But, like, let's just say the next Halo. Or, like, Blade. Well, Fable's coming out this year. We'll just throw Blade out there. I feel like I would be insane to be like, let's make Blade exclusive to Helix. And, you know, and we'll put it on PC, but we're not putting it on PlayStation. It's like, okay, well, when's it launching? It's launching November 2027. How much is it going to be? $1,000. Like, dude, you're going to sell like less than 3 million units probably over the next year, potentially. Like, it just, it can't work. There is no win state here with exclusivity for Xbox. That's the problem. That's the problem. And well, that's the thing. It's like somebody could say, like, well, look at Forza 6 right now. Is this a win state? Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Like, it's great if Forza 6 is selling well. Maybe, I mean, I don't know what the split of those sales would be, but a huge chunk of those sales have to come from, I mean, look at the PC concurrent player count. That's a big chunk of sales for Forza. The other sales, maybe half or more, are coming from the Xbox Series consoles that are out there now. But here's the important question. How many Xboxes is Forza Horizon 6 selling right now? Better question. How many Xboxes do you think Forza Horizon 6 would sell if it wasn't announced coming to PlayStation? The answer is not many. The answer is very few. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dillo. Because Forza's not moving consoles. Halo's not moving consoles. Gears hasn't been moving consoles. Hasn't moved consoles in a long time. Nothing's moving their consoles. That's the problem. That's why I'm just so fascinated. Like, intellectually speaking. It's almost like it draws me in, you know, where it's like, why don't people who are rallying around Xbox right now seem to understand that fundamental fact? They're so, and I know this because I encounter it frequently, where it's like they're so fixated on the idea, they're romanticizing the idea of an Xbox comeback, that they are completely overlooking. Like, guys, you may be able to overlook this. Asha Sharma can't. No matter what she tweets, no matter how many high fives she gives you, she can't, as somebody who is in charge of running this business, she can't ignore that fact. So you probably shouldn't either when you're, you know, entertaining this notion. Day one on PC/Steam is going to cannibalize console sales. Well, that cannibalization, if it actually happened, began way back in 2016. But it's only grown since then. And I mean, we don't know how much it actually, like, how much did Quantum Break going to PC cannibalize Xbox One sales? Probably not much. Because I think Microsoft knew, like, bro, people aren't buying Xbox Ones anyway. This problem stems back to the Xbox One, man. It really does. Where it's like, whatever caused people, listen, this is so important. Whatever caused people to decide, we're not buying Xbox Ones. We're not doing it. That has haunted Microsoft this entire time and never left. You know, the ghost of Shuhei Yoshida and Andrew House will not stop haunting Microsoft. But whatever that was is not gone. And that is, again, this is just where Halo 5 didn't do it. The Master Chief Collection didn't do it. Gears 4 and 5 didn't do it. The acquisitions didn't do it. Starfield didn't do it. Nothing's doing it. Hunter Eats Hunter with a $2 chat says, who's going to keep Sony in check if Xbox doesn't? Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm still paying attention, because it's like, I mean, look, man, I just said a moment ago that Asha Sharma can't ignore the facts. She can't. But you know what she can maybe do? Maybe, and this is a huge maybe, maybe she's allowed to push aside that fact in favor of, we operate at a loss until we win. I would love to see that. But it's like, dude, that's what Xbox has been doing for over 20 years. And look at where it's got them. Like, it never worked. I mean, it created competition, which was beautiful. We love it. That's why I would like to see this happen again. But it's just like, what are the chances that after already announcing their games going multi-platform, they decide, actually, we're going to go back to our old model. Our old model is operating at a loss until we eventually make it work. And it's like, well, I mean, you guys did that for like 20 years. And in fact, that's why the board of Microsoft is probably fed up with that, where it's like, dude, we've given you 20 years. Hunter Eats Hunter, did I miss your super chat? Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. My bad, dude. My apologies. I don't know why I didn't see that one. You also said with another $2 super chat, you said, finally, Sly and Killzone better come back. They might. I don't know about Sly Cooper, though. I feel like Killzone might have a slightly better chance, because we're hearing Infamous is coming back. At least with remasters. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe we could get Infamous and Sly Cooper remasters. Why not? People have been asking for Sly for a long time, dude. But I think, yeah, Killzone's probably, if you ask me, I think Killzone's more likely. But I'm sorry for missing your super chat, buddy. And Cheese and Chainsaws, you're saying Microsoft, Nvidia, and Amazon are getting rid of hardware. The data/cloud centers they build are pricing up hardware. They want to offer you cheaper cloud solutions. Yes, that I do believe. I don't want to make it sound like that isn't affecting any of the situation. It definitely is. It's a major factor. It is affecting Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and everybody else. I just think that, well, to be honest, I think I'm a little bit confused at just how bad the situation is, because a couple of months ago, it was like dire. Like, oh my God, there's literally going to be no RAM. Then, like a month ago or like 3 weeks ago, I'm like seeing some headlines and I'm seeing people talk about how, like, actually it seems like the RAM situation is easing up a little bit. Netflix just announced a free service with ads. So cable, but not, you know what I mean? Hold on, did they? Let me see. Are you sure? Like, do you mean they literally just announced it? Because I'm not seeing anything. And Sarah Digital Dude with a $2 chat saying GTA 6 in Game Pass. Remember that delusional take? Yes, it doesn't get any more delusional than that, dude. It doesn't. I do remember actually encountering that for a little bit, and it's like, are you guys, and that right there perfectly encapsulates how deeply entrenched some people were in the marketing and the hype that Microsoft tried to create for Game Pass, where it's like, bro, no. But listen, people, I don't know. There's just some people, they still, if there's something I've learned, Digital Dude, is that, like, there are just some people so deeply entrenched, they're never going to not be entrenched. Like, doesn't matter what happens. Um, Soros isn't selling consoles, MBG, so what's your point? Yes, but will Wolverine? That's my point. Can you say that we can say that about Soros, and I agree. Not every exclusive is gonna okay. You just flat out say no. Nonsense. Come on. I'm not here to tell you it's gonna sell 10 million consoles, but it's gonna sell consoles. That's a system seller, dude. Come on, you can't deny that. You're gonna sit here and tell me that if Wolverine was exclusive to Xbox, that's not gonna sell some Xboxes? That's gonna sell some Xboxes. Again, I don't know if it'll be like tens of millions, but it'll sell some. Actually, no. Truthfully, dude, El Unico, bro, I say this as somebody who likes Blade. I don't think so, no. So I think Blade could sell some units, but I think it's like if we're comparing an Insomniac Wolverine to a Arcane developed Blade, I'm gonna like I think Wolverine is a much more popular character, and Insomniac is they're a more established studio with games like that. I'm gonna say Wolverine would benefit Xbox much more, I think, than Blade, to be honest. However, I love Blade. You know, like I would love to see. I want to make it clear, guys. Look, I know there's a dichotomy here with me. It comes off as a dichotomy where it's like, so wait, MBG, you're yelling. I'm not yelling, but like you're speaking to Xbox players who are holding on to the idea that exclusivity could come back, and you're thoroughly explaining to them why that's not going to happen, while simultaneously saying, however, you are on their side because you would like to see it happen. And the answer to that is yes. And I know how that comes off weird. It doesn't come off weird, but it creates a dichotomy. It's almost like I'm being on both sides at the same time. But it is like that, you know? It really is, where it's like I would like to see them. I would like to see all the hype that Asha Sharma's building up come to fruition as, yeah, dude, like we're going back to making exclusives to the box, to sell the box, to push it hard. That would be cool to me, because I'd be like, hell yeah, we're going back. Like we're going back to the good old days. Like the console wars are on, you know, and sure they can be toxic, but that's the thing. You get people that come out here and they're like, these damn console warriors and their console wars and all this. And it's like, but then they praise competition. And it's like, don't you understand that the console war is what facilitates deeper competition? Just because it's not the competition you want to see doesn't mean it's not competition. That always bothers me with people like that, where it's like, which is it? You either want competition or you don't. Cheese and Chainsaws, you're saying, so how is competition even possible if having exclusives does not sell Xboxes? And putting their games on PlayStation also tanks hardware sales? What's the answer? Boom. You hit the nail on the head. That's the billion-dollar question. That's the exact position that Asha Sharma finds herself in, where it's like, what is the answer? What is it? I think I have the answer. I'll tell you, like, here's my opinion on that. I'm not saying it arrogantly. I don't know what's going to happen. But the answer to me is you can't go back to the old way. You can't. And the reason why is because the investment you made, not you, Asha Sharma, but Microsoft, the investment Microsoft made, an $80 billion investment into gaming, simply will not allow you to go back to that. That combined with how are your Xbox sales going when you were doing exclusives? And this is the fundamental disconnect. I think we're approaching the fundamental disconnect with some And I know how I sound, but with some Xbox fanboys, where it's like, if you were to say to me, if you were to ask me, MBG, are you saying that PlayStation exclusives sell PlayStations and Nintendo exclusives sell Nintendo consoles, but Xbox exclusives don't sell Xboxes? My answer to that is unfortunately yes. I hate to say that, and I'm not saying that's fair or right, but I'm here to say that the answer to that literally has been proven to be yes. And that's where I am super fascinated at the notion myself. I may not be hyped like the fanboys are, but I'm fascinated by, like, holy shit, like, will you guys go back to exclusives? Because, like, you already know, like, it's not going to work, but you might do it anyway. And I'm like, I kind of, like, to me, I could respect that because I'm like, that takes balls. That sends a message, you know? And I'm like, that's okay. That's pretty sick. That's like almost anti-corporate, where it's like, you guys definitely are not going to do the thing that's going to lose you the most amount of money because you're too corpo for that. Just like everybody is, you know, all the corporations are. Your business. If they were to say, no, fuck that, like, we are going back to exclusives and we are going to try to get aggressive again, even if we know it's not going to work, we're going to do it anyway. But you see how that just doesn't add up? Like, what does that even mean? Why would you do something that you know isn't going to work? You know, to be honest, I think there's something that people are missing here. And I'm gonna kill this conversation with this. This is the kill shot. You ready? What I think a lot of Xbox fans, and by Xbox fans, I'm mainly talking about the people who are really focused on this. The enthusiasts, the people who really are rallying behind Asha Sharma and rallying behind Project Helix and rallying behind this notion of, so you're saying there's a chance, like, oh, it's getting, and I'll be honest, man, I've encountered quite a few people who are already, they're like pumping their chest and they're like, we're coming back. And I'm like, I love the energy, bro. Trust me. Like, I'm right there with you. Kill the conversation until the next Xbox exclusive conversation. Well, yes, I will continue until the circumstances change. I will reiterate this when I feel as though it may be necessary. But what I think so many of these guys don't realize is, like, they're looking to market and sell a device in about a year and a half, right? In 1.5 years. Okay? The absolute worst thing they could do is look at whoever they have left, whether it be 30 million or 10 million, the numbers are kind of irrelevant. The absolute worst thing they can do is look to them and say, yeah, you can leave. That's fine. Go ahead. That's the worst thing they can do. Because we have to understand that the decision has been made. Even though it almost makes no sense at this point in time, the decision has been made and it's been locked in. We're going through with this box. This PC console hybrid that we're calling Helix, it's locked in and we're going through with it. Okay? The big thing that I think all these guys are missing is this whole idea of trying to, like, hear you. We might, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. We might go back to exclusives. We're weighing the options here. It's like, you guys maybe should realize that this is temporary. This is literally what they need to do to not lose people en masse. By people, I mean Xbox players that are currently there. This is an attempt to mitigate the potential bleeding that could occur with this transition. And I feel like it is kind of sad to see people falling for it. I mean, I guess it's not surprising, but it's still sad to hook, line, and sinker, dude. Where it's like, you really think that Asha Sharma is dumb enough, as somebody who clearly knows how to help a brand make a comeback in some way, shape, or form, to make a brand profitable. You really think she's not going to take one look at the Starfield situation and not immediately come to the conclusion like, well, we ain't doing that? You think she's going to look at that? You think she's going to look at all this data and come to the conclusion that, I think we got to try this again. This time it's going to be my ass on the line. Not Phil's. Mine. Not Sarah Bond's. Mine. I mean, people need to wake up, dude. They need to wake up. Like, she's telegraphing this, and I could even see Microsoft temporarily going back to some type of timed exclusivity in an effort to calm down the fans. Like, don't worry, buy a Helix. It's cool. Buy a Helix. All right? Like, trust us. It's good. But in the bigger picture of it all, it's like of course they're not going back, man. Again, I say this as somebody who wants it to, but of course they're not going in that direction. It's unless Asha Sharma wants to lose her position within a couple years. You think she's going to just repeat Phil Spencer's steps? Like, I think, again, I try to emphasize this, like, don't people remember that this is what Phil tried to do? Phil literally did this exact thing, except it wasn't a lie. He actually tried to do it, and it blew up. Starfield sold well on its first year, though. Rough example. Well, no. I'm talking about the bigger picture of it, Alvin, where it's like, what did Starfield do for Xbox sales holistically? What did it do for Xbox holistically? What did it do for Game Pass holistically? What did not releasing Starfield on PS5 and having everybody flex that as an exclusive, what did it do for this brand? And the answer is barely anything. And that was something they paid for. So when we talk about the idea of like Gears of War, I'm not worked up. Honestly, it's because I'm in fucking pain, dude. I'm gonna be real. Like, it's because I'm in fucking pain right now. So I'm not actually angry. I may come off that way. I think my blood pressure is raising. I don't know what to do. This pain won't go away. It's just constant. It's fucking constant. I'm not angry at Xbox. I'm not angry at Xbox fans. I'm not trying to take it out on them. I gotta find something else to yell at. I gotta, I don't know, man. I gotta recenter myself. Gotta do my PlayStation deep breathing. Oh, man. Papa is a big cat. You're angry? Wait, why are you angry at Housemark? But, I mean, look, man. I'm just trying to say that it's... Would I like to see Microsoft come out and basically signal that we're going back to being a serious competitor to PlayStation and to Nintendo? Yes. Do I believe they're going to do that? Not a chance in hell. But I also just want to warn people that it makes sense that they're going to attempt to signal that possibility leading into this new box that they're trying to sell you. And I just think, If you want to take it at face value, take it at face value. You know, Gaming Survivor, what's up, man? Not even Call of Duty moved the needle for Game Pass. Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, it went from trying to sell consoles to trying to sell $1 to $10 Game Pass subscriptions to then $20 Game Pass subscriptions with Call of Duty, and nothing could do it. And I'm not trying to continue to highlight Microsoft's failure as a means to laugh at them or belittle them or make the fans feel like shit. It's just a matter of trying to acknowledge the reality, you know, where it's like when we're evaluating PlayStation, and it's like, no matter how much people want to tell me like Sony is this, and that, it's like, yeah, but they are succeeding. You know, like I can point out 5 to 10 different things that I think need improving. They could do better. I could yell at some things. I could talk about Bluepoint, and I'll do all those things. But it's like, but they're still succeeding by like large margins. So it's like, it's like, if you want me to just believe, like, no, don't worry about, don't look at the numbers, don't look at the data, don't worry about, like, just focus on Soros and it's struggling, or just focus on the Bluepoint closure and only that. It's like, but why would I do that? I'm not limiting myself when I'm looking at the breadth of everything Microsoft is doing in gaming. Why would I do that for Sony? It makes no sense. You know, I feel like the only way I'm going to come to an honest conclusion here, any type of conclusion, is I have to see the whole picture. I have to be able to see the bigger picture. You know, choosing to try to obfuscate that, you know, it just, what's that going to lead to? MBG, but that's what I'm saying. Next hardware is not going to sell. Their exclusives don't sell. PlayStation has the market share, and Nintendo has the rest. Yeah, but geez, I think you pick up on something that I pick up on too. And I guess, yeah, like, this is the continual battle where it's like, why do you get so worked up? And to be honest, like, I don't know. I guess it's just like when I'm waiting for other things to start happening, you know? Or like, it's just, there's like, Microsoft is always there with the, I mean, I don't throw this term out lightly, but like, with the kind of smoke and mirrors, where it's like you said it earlier, where they're gonna, like, we kind of know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna like try to twist it and make it seem like, nah, but we're doing this. It's like, you're not doing that thing. It's like, no, we are doing this thing, like, but you're literally not doing it. It's like, no, we said we are, and our fans believe we are, so we're doing that thing. It's like, but you're literally not. Like, you're literally not. And it I won't lie, man, like, it does annoy me at times, because it is like, it's just, it's like I'm the one that has to deal with being called a fucking clown, you know, or I'm always like, oh, you know, fucking clown pony over here, whatever. Meanwhile, it's like, what about the people I'm encountering that are literally out here flexing the fact? They're like, LOL, have fun waiting to play Forza Horizon 6. It's like, what the, like, what are you talking about? This game was never even supposed to come to PlayStation, and they're out here telling us they're gonna fucking enhance this shit for the Pro. Are you high on crack rocks? The answer is yes. Yes, they are. And, you know, it's not good to argue with people who are doing drugs like that, you know? Oh, man. No, Gaming Survivor, no. Listen. If Xbox brings back true exclusives, then maybe. Then we're going to war. Suit up. Suit up, bro. Only then. But the industry sees what they're doing, are getting annoyed at a few people online. Or you're saying I'm getting annoyed at a few people online. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I think about that too. Like, that's what I have the most trouble with is, is, am I just looking at like the absolute bare minimum minority, or is it bigger than that? And I'll be honest with you, Cheese, like, based on my observations, like, I I'm noticing like no, this is like more wide reaching than you think, and it comes in the form, it comes in many different forms, but like one of the more obvious ones, one of the more easily viewable forms that almost everybody sees is like, dude, look at the type of engagement that Asha Sharma's posts get now. Look at the replies. Look at the thousands of people. I mean, just like glazing, bro. And that's, but so much of it is, it's not just like, okay, I saw 3 people, I saw 10 people, I saw 25 people. It's just it starts to, even if it's not the reality, the perception is strong enough that it's like it can definitely convince you it is the reality. And this is where it's like, dude, so much of Microsoft's marketing feels like a fucking psyop. That's like where it's like, how is this working? And it feels like people, and I guess where the major gaslight comes in, the major gaslight for me, and this is this is the hardest part for me, is it's like, guys, I've been here for like 8 years, really like 10 years, but I've been here for 8 years. Like, I'm not new to this. Like, I've been along for the ride, guys. I saw all the same things you saw. I was part of all the same conversations you were part of. And you were part of all the same conversations I was. And what starts to feel strange to me is like people acting like, what do you, like, no, MBG, like, what are you talking about? Or if not just me, just more like generally speaking, it's like, yeah, but that was then, this is now. And it's like, that is true, but what happened then is literally what sets up now, and we can only try to predict what happens next by knowing what happened then. Now, you know what I mean? But that's where like it feels like it's a farce ultimately, where it's like, don't even bother, because that's not how this is that's not how people are operating today. Nobody cares about what happened in 2024, let alone what happened in 2018 or 2019, But that's the irony, though. But like, people will point stuff out for me. I don't know, whatever. It's whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to handle it, because it's just like, well, what is ultimately being said here? What? That's a whole nother conversation, bro. I think what's ultimately being said here is that, like, dude, listen, as long as Sony PlayStation isn't trying to play the marketing game the way Microsoft is, then this is how the perception's going to be. And I struggle very much with sitting with that, because it's like, that's so dumb. That's so fucking dumb that, like, surely no one's going to just agree to that. And then I look around and it's like, oh my God, everybody's just agreeing to it. And it creates such a weird, again, I'll throw the word dichotomy out there, because it's like, dude, you see like PlayStation fans. Now, granted, I do think a lot of them come off, but Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys, a lot of them come off totally cringe. But it's like, when I start to see like PlayStation fans, they start to have to kind of run the defense, because Sony's not doing shit. Like, I mean, Sony's doing their thing, but Sony's not even remotely paying attention. Where like, Sony will just let the damage accrue, because again, they're more fixated on, but we're succeeding. So is there actual damage being done? And it's like, I guess not. I guess your reputation and your bottom line are somehow disconnected here. And that creates, that's why you see people kind of get defensive. And I try to encourage people, like, try not, but I fall for it myself too sometimes. It's like, try not to get that way, because it's not your job, nor is it mine, to like, change how people view PlayStation. But what makes it difficult for somebody like me in particular, as I'm sure you guys understand, is that, well, like, yeah, when people come to your channel though, MBG, like, there's a preconceived notion that no matter what I say or what anybody says, it's not going to change. So I guess what I'm kind of acknowledging here is that we see how these things are moving. We see the motion of the ocean, so to speak. And it's a matter of like, okay, well, like if I splash hard enough, like I'll change it. It's like, you ain't changing shit. No, you ain't changing shit, bro. It's going to change when it's ready. And there's nothing that can be done about that. And I don't know. I guess it's just, in the meantime, it's kind of like what we're acknowledging here. It's like, just got to have to let things gestate and be what they're going to be. Even though sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, are we for real right now? And it's like, absolutely, we're for real, MBG. We are 100% for real. Are you stupid for not knowing that this is for real? And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'll give you a James Hetfield, yeah. Sleepy Dad with a $2 super chat says, where's Garrett? Shaking my head. Sabotaged Rich. Gmod, GS, and RR. Yeah, I noticed Rich doesn't donate to the channel anymore. Kind of messed up. Well, not really. Nobody has to donate anything. But I just find it peculiar that bro was willing to donate when I gave him nothing. And then I would acknowledge him, and then I modded him. It just didn't work out. But now it's like, nah, I just have to ask the question, how many other people have given Rich Rod that type of chance on the YouTube streets? It's a question worth asking. It's okay, though. It's okay. Still have no problem with Rich. He's always welcome. I just ask him to be respectful. That's all. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I am too nice. The Xbots are out there. They can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it'll absolutely will not stop promoting Xbox. Okay. That I need to make that a soundbite somehow, because that is so funny. That's literally what it feels like. That is dude, I feel like as a Sony pony, ever since Asha Sharma took over, she's like the Terminator. I feel like Sarah Connor out here. And I know Herman Holst ain't no Kyle Reese. That's crazy, dude. I love that. Wait, you're saying, but you let Garrett lie about him? When did Garrett lie about Rich? I don't think Garrett lied. Well, no, Rich Rod lost his modship because Rich Rod's too volatile, man. He's too volatile. He knows it. Everybody knows it. And look, I'm okay with a little bit of volatility, but there's got to be limits here. There's got to be limits. If the day ever comes, I'll promise Gaming Survivor, and I don't know if Rich Rod's here, because I'm sure Sleepy Dad isn't Rich Rod. I can promise you guys this: if the day ever comes where I do just like stop caring at all about trying to do the right thing, or what I believe is do the right thing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to play the game. I'm fucking ready. Because fuck it. Like, trying to be normal or decent or myself gets me nowhere. If I ever go in that direction, you guys will be literally the first in line to be modded, and you'll be my generals, because it's just like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't want to ever go in that direction, because it can be fun, certainly, and it can be chaotic. But I don't know. I feel like I still take the gaming space seriously enough that I don't want it. I'll just say this. I've thought about doing something like this. And even when I did do it one time recently where I dressed up as Johnny P, but it didn't work the way I thought it would. You know why? Because you know what the difference between me and the way some other things are done out here is I realize like the problem with me is I'm going to give people too much. I'm going to play devil's advocate too much. You know, like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt every time, where I'm going to always assume like there's something I'm missing. There's probably more that you said. There's probably more to this. And like my curiosity and like trying to understand where they're coming from will be too strong. To where like I had thoughts of like, you know, taking certain clips and things where it's like I'm literally only going to make sure that what I'm presenting is only showing certain things because I can't be bothered with showing the rest of it. And I've thought about that because it's like, well, that would work. It's proven that that works. I can't do it though. I can't do it willingly, knowing like, but I'm not I'm hiding something. Or if I'm not hiding it, I'm purposely doing the smoke and mirrors where it's like, well, I'm not going to watch all your content. It's like, no, but I will get just enough to make you look like this when I, for my own gain. Like I can't bring myself to do that. And that's the game I'm talking about. Yes, I would prefer the console war. You know why? Because the console war, that is nonsense. Well, depending, right? Like the thing about the console war is that at least when people are involved with that, like there's a passion that comes through. Where it's like, we're not just trying to be right about everything all the time. We're not just trying to shit on people all the time. It's actually people like, yo, I fucking care about this thing and here's why I care about it. And that's cool. Like, I like that. Can it get toxic? Can it make people get weird sometimes? Of course. But I don't know, man. Like, I appreciate the idea of people, I don't know, just being like, hey, man, I think this console's better because of A, B, C, and D. And then the company's like, yeah, we're trying to provide A, B, C, and D so that way you feel like that. Like, you feel like it's a good thing. We're doing a good thing here. You know, we set this up for you. You know? And I understand why other people don't see it that way. But I don't know. It's just like that is a form of competition. It just might not be the form people like. Did you see the leaked Elite 3 with cloud buttons and also the new... I saw the cloud-based controller. I didn't see the Elite 3. That's the future of gaming, man. That's the Libra mentality. It went personal. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I have this continued problem on my channel as a whole, where, I think a part of the reason why my channel goes through some turbulence internally, like with the chat sometimes and with the different people I bring on, it's because of the way I run it. Where like, yeah, sometimes I am volatile myself. Sometimes I do come out and I'm like, fuck it, but then other times I'm like, nah, I actually don't want to be that way. And I don't like that. And I kind of have like a bipolar thing going on, and, that is my fault. And I think I've given like different signals to different people where like, it becomes hard, I think, for people to determine like, so how are we really supposed to act here? Like, is this like a super chill, relaxed environment? Yeah, an inconsistent tone. Is I would definitely, I would agree with that. It's an inconsistent tone, and it's all because it's just like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like there are times where I'm hyper aware And then there are times where I'm not aware enough, where it's like, bro, you're like way too in the weeds right now, and you're missing everything else around you. But then there are other times where it's like I can see everything, like, and it's all meaningless. I don't know. It's strange. It's a strange thing. Man, Sleepy Dad's really, really vouching for Rich right now. Sometimes it's Disney, some other times it's HBO. That's best description. Best description, dude. Sometimes it's Disney, other times it's HBO. That's so funny. That is, I think that actually might be the most accurate description. MBG, think about how dull life has been since we left. Well, I don't know. It is a matter of like, I don't know. One of the weirdest things that has occurred is how, like, dude, it's so funny when I look back at like earlier times in the channel where I did have a higher level of confidence, but that confidence was not earned 100%. Some of it was, but some of it was actually just simply confidence of like, I don't know, I was just kind of enjoying the ride, and I wasn't thinking too hard about it. I wasn't thinking about it in the bigger picture way that I probably should have. And then once I started to think about it that way, that's kind of when I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. And certain things, it's like, it's interesting because one of the, and I don't want to make it like too much about me and my channel, but it's just got me thinking, like, one of the things that I actually still encounter that I'm like truly at a loss, and it does make me want to go like turn heel or whatever, where it does make me want to just go like, you know what, F it. PlayStation View, oh wow, dude. It's when like I still encounter people who give me flack because they're like, you're not critical towards Sony. And that, I'm not gonna lie, like, that triggers me, because it's like, it's not them saying it that triggers me. It's that they say it and other people are like, yeah, that's true. And it's like, what are you, again, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, it's a lie so blatant. So blatant that it's like, you can't, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but it's like, go ahead, say that. Nobody agrees with you, because obviously I'm like extremely critical towards Sony. And it's like, what? Wait, why, wait, what are you talking about? Why are you saying I'm not critical? Why are you agreeing with this? You know what I mean? That's what starts to gaslight the hell out of me. Because I've tried to do what I believe is the right thing, and that's why I'm still doing it. That's why that's why no matter how many times I encounter this, the gaslighting, I always come back to this point, because to me this is the right thing, where it's like, I'm not calling Sony out because somebody told me I should. I'm calling them out because that's how I really feel. I'm giving Sony praise for this because that's how I really feel, not because somebody told me I should. That's the difference between me and some of these individuals I encounter, where it's like, it really disturbs me that it's like, if, like, for example, if we look at Saros, and if I were to defend that game or get defensive about that game by saying, I actually think it's a really good game, I think it deserves some, better sales because it's a well-made game, and I think a lot of the flack that it's been getting for the story is way overblown. That will be used against me to paint me as a corporate bootlicking fanboy. Right? But if I go on a fucking 10-minute diatribe about how Horizon Hunter's Gathering is a horrible looking game, a mistake, proof that Sony is still not where they need to be, and I just go on and on about it, that will be fucking shunned. It'll be shunned to a degree that if I were to go out of my way, and I'll be the one to ring the bell and say, here's what MBG had to say about this game. Not, again, I'm not saying that about Hunter's Gathering because, well, that's the popular thing. No, because I actually really think that. That's how I genuinely feel about that game. It's just ignored. It's totally shunned. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So, I don't know, man. It's weird out here with these current positions, I guess, that PlayStation, Sony, or Microsoft, and maybe even Nintendo, but also Valve to a degree. It's strange to see the way the conversation and the discussion has evolved. Peace BG. War BG? To be honest, Sony does need some criticism from us ponies sometimes. We still don't have to play nice when the Xbox with the Xbox clowns. I mean, that seems to be the problem. That seems to be the problem, man. Is that like I've basically just, I'm not trying to fight. And you know, you think by doing that, you're just going to be able to kind of like pay attention to your own shit. But no. Well, anyway. I didn't finish reading this article. I just realized. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's enough. I mean, we pretty much get the gist of it. All right, let me head back to the chat. Well, no, I mean, Rich Rod and Gaming Survivor need to know that part of the problem is that I think they were a little bit heavy-handed with who they were. Like, there was always like a bad faith type thing with anybody who came in that was, I don't know, man. It's like, you know, don't create an echo chamber. Meanwhile, literally everybody creates echo chambers. That's all anything is. Everything is just an echo chamber. Literally. It's just the way it is. Oh no, I agree. Sony deserved the heat they got for Bluepoint. Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Yeah, now I want to make it clear, like, I do appreciate that. Like, those of you who do defend me against some of this bullshit, like, I do appreciate that. Sincerely. Because I know that some of you guys see this shit too, and you're like, what the fuck? You know? And it's not like, woe is me. It's not about trying to be the victim. Like, I'm not a victim. It's just like having to deal with just people who lie and slander. And it's like, that does do damage. It's not taking me down. It's not taking any of this down. But I don't fucking appreciate the damage. That's for sure. You know, I don't appreciate, like, I've welcomed in Xbox. I get a decent amount of Xbox players that watch my content. You know, I do. I get a decent amount, and most of the time, dude, like, I don't ever get in like arguments with them. We get into disagreements, you know, and there are things we don't see eye to eye on, but I don't really ever get. I haven't. I mean, the only place, truthfully, that I encounter people where like, okay, now you fucking pissed me off. And I've like been trying to avoid this as much as I can, but it happens from time to time, is Twitter. Like, and that's because Twitter is a fucking cesspool. Like, people understand when they're on Twitter, like, I can be the shittiest version of me, consequence free. And that's why I don't read replies. I appreciate anybody who replies to my tweets. I don't really read them. I mean, I'll like maybe look at a few like here and there, but I can't dwell for too long because I know it's a guarantee. It doesn't matter what the post is, doesn't matter what it's about. They're, you know, it's bad over there, dude. It's real bad over there. It's really bad. But on YouTube, I don't really encounter that often. It's like super rare. You like to see Sony make games like Subnautica, cheaper to buy but fun games. Subnautica 2 sold 2 million in like 24 hours and it's still in the pre-sale phase like Forza 6. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Subnautica. I mean, it is a pretty big game. I see it's kind of blowing up a little bit. Yeah, that's true, Nicodemus. See, stuff like that. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing that I think I just get hung up on a little bit when I talk about PlayStation is, again, I don't like to be the person that ever comes off defensive, but it really is just like there's a difference between, I think, genuinely being critical and having a problem with something and just kind of like, posturing yourself. And that's the thing that I can't do, and I get burned for it all the time, man. I get burned for it all the time. And it's weird to me because it's like, I don't know, that I mean, I guess it's not weird. It's just the way it's always been, where you just, people tend to just kind of go with what's popular. And by popular, I just mean like whatever the popular opinion is, that's usually where people are gonna, generally speaking, like people are gonna choose that because it's a safe bet. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if a game's getting bad reviews, I mean, it's as simple as that. If a game's getting bad reviews and you say this game is bad, that's a safe bet. It's like, did you play it? Well, no. Why don't you play it? Because the reviews told me it was bad and everybody else is saying it's bad. If you're, God forbid, you're the person where it's like you play a game that doesn't get good reviews and you're like, actually, I think this is pretty good. Good luck. Good luck. It's like you're gonna get steamrolled, especially today, the way things are. And I guess it's always been that way. I think it's just louder today than it was. 2023 through 2025, there were discords and shit dedicated to trolling MBG's chat. Are you serious? Wait, Gaming Survivor, where'd you hear about that? That's crazy. Is there still shit like that? Oh my God, I hope not. PlayStation does need to invest in the AA game sphere. Games like Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper provide variety. I miss the AI songs, man. I miss those $2 dodos from Rich. Where are they? Rehire Rich Rod and he'll infiltrate those discords. I'll go to those discords, bro. I'll be like, fuck y'all. And then I'll leave. Could you imagine, I'm gonna request to join a Discord that's literally meant to troll me. God, man. The internet's so weird. MBJ had walls tapped like the FBI. Damn. There you go. MBG, don't discredit Rich Rod's support for the channel. No, I'm not. It added up. I appreciated it. So Rich Rod getting rid of Vice was code. No, that was real. I think that was a real situation. Well, well, uh, um, hold on, got a mustache hair. Hate it when that happens. What the hell? We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what the future's gonna bring. I mean, we got Summer Game Fest coming up. We got the Xbox Showcase coming up. Did you guys know Xbox invited me to Xbox Fan Fest? No joke. They invited me to I think it was like their big one that they do for the showcase, like in LA. I'm not kidding. Dude, I had to respectfully, like, honestly, it's a good thing I did turn it down because I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. Like, could you imagine if I said yeah? I had to go with like a broken neck. But I was like, dude, it would be so fucking funny. Like they have to know how funny that would be. I'm like certain that half the reason they invited me, or the whole reason, is because it's just this is peak comedy, bro. And it would have been, I would have got jumped. I would have got jumped at Xbox Fan Fest. Like, hey guys, excited to play those fucking. Oh man, I would have had to wear like a paper bag over my head. Who's that guy? I don't know. He's new. It's bizarre that I've never gotten a review code from Sony. I don't know. I mean, my understanding with Sony is like you either have to be really big or have a contact. And I've never had a Sony contact, dude. It's probably best I don't. I don't know. Like Microsoft, they reached out to me a year and a half ago or something, like when they started their multi-platform push, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't mind having a connection here, you know, if it, as long as it doesn't conflict with anything. But it's like, yeah, man, I don't know. It feels like it would be a little bit different with Sony because I mean, I don't mean this offensively towards Microsoft, but it's like, it's easier for me to feel like there would be less of a conflict of interest with Microsoft because I'm not as high up on their games. Like they have a couple of things that I'd definitely be interested in, but outside of that, it's like, to whereas like with Sony, I don't know. They're the thing I care about most. Therefore, I'm most critical, even though it may not seem like it. Like I'm most critical of them in the sense that like, dude, I don't know that I would want to risk anything. I don't know. I mean, it's like if Sony gave me a review copy of which they probably won't even do reviews, but like of Horizon Hunter's Gathering, it's like, is there even a point to this? You know, like you already know what my review of this game is going to be. And I think it's stuff like that. That's probably why it's like, dude, Sony, if they've ever, I'm sure somebody at Sony PR has probably come across my channel at least once where, they're like, yeah, that guy's never getting a review code. You know, like we're never, I don't know. Sony's really, they're really uptight like that. And I do think it is because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they want fake people. I mean, maybe they kind of do. Like, yeah, the way Sony's PR handles shit always bothers me, where they're getting like pop artists and shit to advertise PlayStation. I'm like, this is, and they're like, they're it's always unsettling when you see Sony prioritizing people who literally don't ever talk about PlayStation ever. Like hardly ever, and like they're the first ones to get review codes. It's like, okay, dude, like, and that's not like a jealousy thing. Like, there are many lower end people who get review codes from Sony. I'm just saying it's like you can tell. Like they don't hide it. They don't hide that they're very kind of pompous like that, if that makes sense. Where there's like a level of there's a specific word I'm looking for. I can't quite find it. They're like overly protective, maybe. That's putting it nicely. Sony wants numbers, not fans. A selfie with Colt Eastwood. Dude, how funny would that be? Imagine MBG and two more of us rolling into an Xbox event. Shake hands. I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not kidding, though. Like, I'm serious. Like, they extended an invite. And, you know, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'm assuming it's okay for me to talk about this. If not, I guess I just burnt my bridge accidentally. So I'm not trying to. It's just, they were nice about it. You know, like, they offered to, I mean, dude, they offered to cover everything. Like, the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, Microsoft, how much you want for my channel? No, but I was like really shocked by that, where I'm like, you do know who you're talking to, right? Like, I run a PlayStation channel. But that's what's crazy to me, dude. Like, that's what, and I don't know if maybe they're hardcore fucking with me. See, this is why it's like you asked me why I get so worked up. It's because, like, dude, I'm out here watching Xbox fans. They're like, exclusive. The exclusive, they're coming back, bro. I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be great. We got those exclusives. And I'm like, bro, they're out here asking me to fucking go to Xbox Fan Fest. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what you think's gonna happen, but that's crazy. Like, that says it all. Like, that says it all, dude. It's me. It's me. Well, I didn't say no rudely. I mean, truthfully, I don't know if that's something I'd be able to. I can't. Sony could invite me right now to come to a fucking fan event for PlayStation. I'm probably gonna say no. It wasn't personal or anything towards like Microsoft. It's just like I don't do stuff like that. I think it's cool. Like I actually do think that the fan fest thing they do is cool. I mean that. Like I like when companies do shit like that for the fans. It could be a little bit cringe, absolutely. But it's cool for the fans, you know? It's like that's who it's for. I really thought about that. I'm like, dude, this could be the greatest fucking content in the history of my channel. But I don't know, man. It's just not that's not my thing. They were offering, I would be able to play games early. I'd be able to interview devs and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like it's intimidating to me where it's like, I don't know that I want to get that close to that stuff. It's cool. Like I've always admired it from a distance, but it's like the idea of like, I don't see myself in that position. It's like if Sony was like, yo, do you want to like fly to Sony HQ and fucking play Wolverine early? I'd be like, oh my God, that's insane. No, no, thank you. Like I'm not doing that. Like I'll play it when it comes out. I think it looks great. I already say good things about it because I think it looks great. It's like, I don't know. I'm a couch warrior, and not a real life warrior. No, I mean, dude, I thought about that too, though. Like, in all seriousness, like imagine that for real, though. Like, imagine me. Like, look at me. Look, I'd had the black hat on. Like, it would be so awkward. It would be painful, and that's what would make it so funny. It would make it so funny, but it's like, literally, they'd all be looking at me like, ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no. I mean, I'd be walking in with a bright blue PlayStation logo shirt. I'd have like a fucking necklace of the PlayStation symbols. I'd go dressed as Johnny P. Oh man. You know what? Maybe I gotta reach back out and say, wait, do you guys still have a spot open? Oh my God, that would. No. Could you imagine that? Like, could you fucking imagine that? There's just like all these Xbox fans, and there's just me dressed as fucking Johnny P standing there. That's amazing. You know what? Shout out to Microsoft though, man. That's pretty cool of them. I have to admit. That's the fact that they were willing to invite me, and they like they know who they're inviting. It's like I give them credit for that. We're like, you guys definitely don't have to do that, and that's almost crazy of you, but you're doing it anyway. Okay, respect. I respect it. Yeah, just go dressed as Kratos, cosplaying as Kratos, dude. I'm sorry, guys. Though I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't mean to disappoint. Oh, 223 Gaming sent Uncle Alert. I mean, basically, yeah. Yeah, now it's interesting to think that even if I did accept it, I seriously wouldn't have been able to go because this thing in my neck, I can I don't know, man. Like, I'm not trying to over exaggerate, but I went for a walk yesterday and it was probably like a mile walk. And I'm like, dude, by the end of it, I was in so much pain. It's difficult to walk for an extended period of time. So yeah, I don't know. I hope I don't have to get surgery, man. Yeah, that an Xbox t-shirt underneath the tracksuit, like the tracksuit would be unzipped. I hope I don't have to get surgery because if I have to get surgery, that's going to cause a lot of problems in my life. I mean, obviously, it causes problems for anybody's life that has to get it, but I don't know. If it ends up happening, guys, you're gonna fucking see me sitting here with a legit like neck brace, and I don't know, like a crazy scar right here. All right, Gaming Survivor. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping this up in a couple minutes. Guys, if you want to drop any more support before we wrap up today, I did start a little bit late, so I'm a little bit thrown off time-wise. But if you want to drop any more support, guys, we only hit 7 members today. Unacceptable. But I may have to accept it anyway. So if you guys want to drop any more support, any more members, super chats, direct donations, anything like that, now would be the time to do it before I wrap this up. Yeah, I appreciate that, Gaming Survivor. It does suck. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. Hopefully it'll be resolved sooner rather than later. What happened to my neck? Somebody was asking me earlier how I heard it. I don't know. I don't know how I heard it. All I know is that I have a severe disc herniation, and I mean, the only thing I can figure is about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago, I was clearing out my garage and cleaning it up, and there was a lot of heavy shit that I had to lift. If I did anything at any point, it had to have been then. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't feel anything though. If I did hurt it, then it was delayed. But put roids in my food. Increase my caffeine intake. Peace BG is no good. We need War BG back. I lost an inch of height when I crushed my disc. Dude, I'm not gonna... Yeah, It's weird, because, like, like, when I walk now, I hopefully it doesn't stay like this, but I notice when I walk, I have to kind of lean, like, hunch a little bit. Because trying to stand up completely straight causes, like, the most pain. So... I do look shorter. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying not to like psych myself out. Like I want to believe it's not that bad. Like I want to believe it'll heal on its own, but I don't know, man. The nerve is pinched to a point where it's just all down my arm. Luckily, I'm not experiencing like weakness yet. So I'm experiencing some weakness. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just want to tell myself. I just want to tell myself that it's going to be fine. I'm not going to have to get some serious surgery, but for all I know, once I get further testing done, they might be like, "You're fucked, bro." Like, I only have numbness in my finger, my index fingertip. That's the only finger I have numbness in, at the very tip. Just the tip. That's good, right? And Ray's like, damn, bro, MBG, what happened to you, man? He comes in, he drops a member gift. He drops a pity gift. Ray with the pity gift. Thank you, Ray. He's like, my neck, my back, I need $150,000. That shit had me laughing, man. No, I do appreciate it, Ray. Thank you. I'll throw it onto the account here.
Good God.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I didn't even mean to do that, but gonna deal with it for a few months. Yeah. Am I watching my diet? I mean, honestly, no. I'm sure my diet is not helping with the inflammation, but maybe I should try to clean up a little bit. You got a streamer's body. Not working every day or some manual labor got you all week. I mean, dude, it's weird because, like, I think that's why I hurt myself so bad. I think it's the fact that, like, the majority of my time over the course of an entire week is spent sitting. And I don't think about it, you know, because the time goes by so quick. It's like I'm sitting down making my videos. I'm sitting down streaming the entire time. And then anytime I'm gaming, I'm sitting. So it's like quite literally 70% or more of my day is spent sitting. And so it's like, okay, but now I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go lift weights and do intense exercise. And I think my body, like parts of my body are just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, we're not ready for that. You know, like you're just going from 0 to 100. And, you know, if I was living a more normal life, I suppose, like a less sedentary life, I'd be moving all day. I'd be moving all day and doing different motions all day. So like the blood's flowing all day. The joints are lubed up all day. And so if you go to work out, it's like you're kind of, you know, your body's somewhat already kind of prepped for it. And yeah, I think that sitting for so long, and especially, you know, like I was thinking about how when I'm streaming, I think I'm just naturally putting my head forward. I'm just like pushing forward naturally when I'm sitting in my desk chair. I think doing that for so long has just caused weakness and imbalances in certain structures in my body that it's just like, yeah, bro, you can go lift some weights and you can move some shit. You keep doing that while simultaneously continuing to facilitate those imbalances. It's going to catch up with you and something's going to break. Something's going to snap. Something's going to explode. And I guess it was the fucking disc in my neck. I mean, dude, listen, I've had disc herniations before. Like, I've had lower disc herniations numerous times. And they were bad. I mean, dude, there was a time where I herniated one of my lower discs so bad I couldn't walk. And that healed. And I learned the hard. I'm like, I'm not fucking with that no more, dude. Like anytime I see something that's like heavy that I got, I'm like, I'm doing a full fucking ass to the grass squat. Perfect form every time. Because every time I would do that to my back, my lower back, it was from, you know, you think you got this and you just do improper form. And then it's just like, oh, and I just herniated a disc. What's weird about this one though, being in my like upper neck is like, I don't know, when I had those lower disc herniations, like I could feel progress. I could, after like 2 to 3 weeks, I could tell like I'm getting better. This is going on like over 3 weeks. And I'm like, I don't feel better. This doesn't feel like it's getting better. And it's, you know, that's what's really starting to make me nervous where I'm like, uh-oh, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to having an injury that, I don't think I've ever had an injury that didn't start to get better over time. So I don't know, man. I just keep, like, I was really depressed this morning because yesterday, I like didn't have pain yesterday. I had some pain here and there. And I was like, okay, is this it? Like, am I turning the corner? Am I on the road to recovery? And I felt good. I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to move around and stuff. And I'm feeling fine. And then I woke up this morning and it's just like, I'm right back to where I'm like, what the fuck, dude? What happened? I didn't do anything crazy. I don't know. I did try to drum a little bit yesterday. I don't know if that fucked it up. But sorry, I don't mean to just go. I'm not trying to just bitch and moan. I'm just thrown off my game, man. Like, you guys know how it is. You get shit that just happens to you suddenly, and you're like, shit. I just can't focus the way I want to, and I don't know. Maybe you guys don't even notice the difference though. You're like, bro, you're just as you sound just as stupid as you always do. Yeah, dude, I'm losing my healing factor like old man Logan. Yeah, I guess it is age. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I am 32 now, so I guess your healing factor does slow down. Sounds like a nerve issue. Have you considered acupuncture? Go see a chiropractor. I don't think I'll ever see a chiropractor. That shit makes me too nervous, man. I feel like I would be that unlucky 1% where it's like, oh yeah, MBG's dead. How'd he die? He went to a chiropractor. you know, like I feel like that would be me. Acupuncture has been recommended numerous times. I don't know. Maybe I could look into it. Motion is lotion, as my chiropractor says. I have to stay active because my back aches if I don't consider getting a standing desk. It helps me. Dude, I did. I recently just bought a standing desk and I'm not using it because I tried using it once and like that's kind of my problem is the reason why I'm sitting here and if you notice like I always have my arm leaned back, it's because this is the only position. I'm still in pain, but it's like it's the only position that reduces the pain just enough where it's like I can tolerate this. I did one stream like a week ago with my standing desk and I was fucked up. Like I'm like okay, I can't do this right now. I want to, because like I'm like, oh, if I stand up, it's gonna heal me, and it's better posture and all that. But it's like whatever's wrong with my body, it's like, bro, you can't really stand straight without severe pain. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's clearly starting to become a psychological battle. Go ahead, Cornelius. You can cry. I appreciate you guys listening to me, bitch. Yeah. Maybe it's Papa. Maybe he's like bad juju. He did this to me. Have you tried hanging upside down? I have not because I have no means to properly hang upside down. I've tried doing some dead hangs, and that didn't really help, unfortunately. Hanging upside down would be interesting. Oh, you meant to say your physiotherapist says that? At least I have the standing desk for the future, though. Like, assuming I would hope at some point I get better, I'll have a standing desk now. And I think that will help. When I do eventually recover, having that standing desk will make sure that I can maybe avoid this problem in the future, from reoccurring. Oh, Jake, yeah. I saw that. So there's like a rumor that From Software's next game is going to get revealed at Summer Game Fest, and it's going to be a pirate game, and your hub world is like the ship, and you like sail to all these different regions. I'm like, that sounds amazing, and I fucking hope it's true. That sounds cool as hell. Pirate Souls, bro. Wait, Cheese and Chainsaws, are you serious? I can't tell if you're joking or not. Marathon skins? Oh, God. Holy shit. $30 marathon skin. I don't know if they're going to be $30, but $20 marathon skins. Hype. Hype. Very hyped. That's crazy. I mean, it's fine. They got to monetize it, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't think Marathon can be saved. All right, guys. We're going to hit the 3-hour mark. This is where I'm going to wrap it up. for me, I mean, it's weird because like normally by now this would have been the 4 hour mark, but I had to start a little bit late today. But guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me and listening to me complain for the last like 20 minutes. Um, appreciate all the support. If you guys could do me a favor as you're heading out, make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to everybody who dropped any member gifts, any super chats, any support at all. I appreciate it. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. I did put out a video earlier today. You can go check that out if you're interested in it, if you missed it. And yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. I have an appointment, so I don't know what my time frame is going to look like. I also don't know how I'm going to feel, but I hope it goes well too. I appreciate all the well wishes. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow. If not, obviously I'll be back Tuesday, but I'm just taking it day by day. So we'll see. Hopefully, who knows? Hopefully, I'll feel better. I'll get lucky. I'll wake up tomorrow. I'll be perfectly fine. No. All right. I also want to make sure to give a shout out to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps for the stream. If you guys see him in the comments with those timestamps, give him some thanks. Show him some love. I know he appreciates it. And that's it, guys. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.